In this video, I'm excited to share with you my fingerstyle arrangement of Moondance. This is an easy arrangement as far as skill level, and one of the challenges that I think you'll find is bringing it up to tempo. You can play this arrangement with high or low G tuning, as we're only using strings 1, 2, and 3, or strings A, E, and C. So let's get started with our demo, and then we'll move into our tutorial. If you're enjoying my lessons, I would love to hear from you in the comments, and please give this video a thumbs up. It really does help to support my channel. If you'd like to download the tabs for Moondance or any of my tab arrangements, as well as my song sheets for song tutorials, you'll find them all on Patreon as individual PDFs and as songbooks. The link is down below in the video description. Next, in our tutorial, we'll walk through measures 1 through 11, step by step, to get you started. This arrangement is in 4/4 time, which means that every measure consists of 4 quarter notes, and the tempo is 132 beats per minute. So if you set your metronome at 132, you'll have 4 beats for every measure. So if we were to count the 4 quarter notes in a measure, including the ands, or the eighth notes, with a shuffle rhythm, it will sound like this. 1, walk through measures 1 through 11 at a slow tempo, beginning with measure 1. Here we're starting with our index, middle, and ring fingers covering the 5th fret of strings 3, 2, and 1. We'll pick all 3 strings together, and then we'll move this chord shape up to the 7th fret to pick all 3 strings together again. And then measure 2. For our first chord in measure 2, we're going to pick strings 1 and 2 together with our pinky on the 8th fret of the first string and our index finger on the 5th fret of the 2nd string. Now for an easier version, you can pick just the first string. And then we're going to go back to our E minor 7 chord, covering the 7th fret of strings 3, 2, and 1. Measure 3 is played the same way as measure 1. And then the beginning of measure 4 is played the same way as measure 2. Now our melody begins with the final 3 notes of measure 4. Here we have 3 notes on the first string, starting with the open string, then the 5th fret, here I'm using my index finger, and then the 7th fret, here I'm using my ring finger. Next we have measure 5, we start measure 5 on the 8th fret of the first string with our pinky, then the 7th fret with our ring finger, then the 5th fret with our index finger, and now we're going to the 7th fret of strings 1 and 2 with our middle and ring fingers to pick these 2 strings together. Now for an easier version, you could pick just the first string. Then we'll go down to the 5th fret with our ring finger, then the 3rd fret with our index finger, and then we're going to the 5th fret of strings 1 and 2, once again with our middle and ring fingers. Here for an easier version, you could pick just the first string. So throughout this arrangement, anytime we play the 5th fret of strings 1 and 2 together, you can always choose to play only the first string for an easier version. This also applies to the 7th fret. When we play the 7th fret of strings 1 and 2, you can always choose to play only the first string. Now the final chord in measure 5 carries over to the beginning of measure 6, and then we have 3 notes in measure 6, starting with the open first string, then we go to the 5th fret with our index finger, and then the 7th fret with our ring finger. And next we have measure 7, to begin this measure, we're going back to the 8th fret of the first string with our pinky, then the 7th fret with our ring finger, down to the 5th fret with our index finger, back to the 7th fret, and then back to the 5th fret, and now we'll move our index finger down to the 3rd fret, and we'll finish this measure playing the 5th fret of strings 1 and 2, once again with our middle and ring fingers. This chord at the end of measure 7 carries into the first half of measure 8, and then at the end of measure 8 we'll play the 5th fret of the first string with our index finger, and then the 7th fret with our ring finger. Now measures 9 and 10 are played the same way as measures 5 and 6. And next we have measure 11 to finish this musical phrase. So at the beginning of measure 11, we're going back to the 8th fret of the first string with our pinky, then the 7th fret with our ring finger, 5th fret with our index finger, then the 7th fret of strings 1 and 2 with our middle and ring fingers, then down to the 5th fret with our ring finger, 3rd fret with our index finger, and back to the 5th fret of strings 1 and 2 with our middle and ring fingers. For more of my easy fingerstyle arrangements and tutorials, see this playlist here. Have fun learning Moondance, and thanks for watching!